I do believe it is to have
Oh, 1,500 meters! Let's go!
Go back to Libya, go back to Lebanon, go back to Ukraine.
We gotta fly over downtown!
We know that the deep state players, they hate the other revolution to overthrow the United States government. And this will create chaos in this country. Because if you know you can't win the election, what do? You need to stop the election, and you create chaos. And I do believe this is where all this
Money.
is. Now, I do believe Trump and the Patriots, they knew this from the very beginning. Because if you look at the 50-year plan, you understand that they were going to have open borders, they were going to destroy the economy.
Blown over.
Bring us to war. So, if you know all of this, what do you got to do? You've got to counter everything that they're trying to do. And if you go back to the very, very Trump was in the White House, everything was put into motion. And the only way to counter everything they were trying to do, remember, this all started with Obama. I mean, yes, I know it started way before him, but they implemented their plan with Obama. And if you know that they're going to try to do this, and you know that you have to counter it, and you have to have the people on your side. He had the military, he came in with the military, came in with them with tanks and soldiers. The deep state players, they would have their soldiers, and they would have an internal war, which is a civil war in this country. So Trump and the Patriots...
No gun, no fucking gun!
If we're going to counter their entire insurgency, the same insurgencies or revolutions that they use in other countries, how do we do this? We need a counter-insurgency to stop it. And this wasn't an easy task. This is a very difficult task to implement. Because again, yes, it's very military, have the military go in, but you're missing one key component. That component is the people. A counter-insurgency only works with the people and the military together. You can't have one without the other. So you need the people on your side. And this is the difficult part. How do you do that? How do you get the people on your side? How do you show the people, the deep state players? Yes, you can sit down, you can explain it to them on social media and television. Trump can come out and say, listen, I want to tell you about the deep state players. I don't know if you're going to believe me or not, but this is what they have planned. No one would believe it. They wouldn't believe it. They wouldn't be sitting there going, oh yeah, okay, we're with you. The people would not go to his side, and they wouldn't accept what he needs to do. So, to get the people on his side, to get the people aware of what was going on, what did Trump have to do? He needed to take control of the country. And the only way to do that is to bring the people through these different events, to wake them up and to take control of the country. Because again, without control, you can't pull this off. So I do believe back in November 3rd and January 6th, he needed them to push their plan, which is the virus. He needed them to steal the election, overthrow the United States government, overthrow the duly elected president. So this way, he has the military on his side. That is number one. So now he has the military, he has control of the country. The next part of this was getting the people on his side. This was going to be a little bit more difficult. This was going to take a lot more time. So he is the deep state to do what they do best. Use events, scare the people, and Trump, the Patriots, they needed them to pursue their 16-year plan. But they lost time. They never expected Hillary Clinton to lose. They are behind in their schedule of what they wanted to do. So to do everything, they were going to actually rush it. And as you rush the plan and everything's accelerated, people can see that very, very clearly. Now, in the very beginning, when we had open borders and we saw what happened out in Afghanistan, people, all right, they saw it. They're saying, okay, no big deal. But as time went on and people saw the open borders and people in all the different cities started to experience it, people saw how many people were coming into this country and who they were letting in. Well, this is when the people started to react. And again, you can't do that overnight. The same thing with bringing us to war. They just you just don't start a war. It builds over time. They got to create the narrative, and that's why you see that happening right now out in the Middle East with Ukraine and soon with Taiwan. So this needed to take time. The people needed to wake up, and the people needed to reject everything that the deep state is trying to do. Plus, if you add in the economy breaking down, which everyone has that in common, everyone would like to have a job, everyone would like to pay their bills, everyone would like to support their family. When this breaks down, doesn't matter if a Republican, Democrat, makes no difference. When the economy breaks down, people really wake up. So this entire plan right here was going to take time because there was a lot of people, there's still a lot of people that are very, very, I'm not saying everyone's going to wake up. We know that anyone, they're just going to continually believe whatever they believe. We'll have to explain this later on. Just like back in Nazi Germany, a lot of people after the war learned, like, holy crap, I mean, we were the bad guys? Well, the same thing's going to happen here. But think about all the people that are awake now. All the people that are awake, seeing what's going on, they are now on Trump's side. And yes, there's going to be a lot more on Trump's side, especially the deep. And I do believe Trump needs to unite the country. I do believe he is uniting the country. And the only way to unite the country is to actually have people feel pain. Because the pain is going to bring them to the present. The pain is the economic collapse. The pain is war. And when they see the side of war and they see the side of peace, people will have to make a decision. And I do believe as we get closer and closer to the presidential election, the country will see exactly what the deep state is doing. Even the people on the Democrat side. Those people, they will also see it because when they're approaching
come on,
war,
dude.
They're going to understand and they're going to want peace. Which means at that point, as very close to the election, we have the counterinsurgency prepared and ready. Because all these illegals that have been brought into this country and were military age, they are going to be used to actually to have a color revolution, to have an insurgency. And the counteroffensive is what? Is we the people and the military. Will people accept the military? Will people accept what Trump is suggesting? Or one of the military leaders suggesting? Yes. What is happening? Yes. They will accept it. If they try to do this without the people being awake, the people of this country would not accept it. Because they wouldn't understand it. So yes, I do believe everything is set up, everything is ready to go, and everything that we've known about, going back to the very beginning, it all revolves around 2024.
That's probably more
And we're going to be discussing a lot more about this a little bit later. First,
this is where I got fucking killed earlier.
For climate department, remember John Kerry was down. John Podesta, he was then crowned the climate czar, but there is a problem with all this because they're saying that they just can't say this is the guy and let him take over. The appointment appears to be a blatant attempt to sidestep congressional oversight and install Podesta in a position that under federal law requires the advice and consent of the United States Senate. And now they're pushing back on it. So this is the problem with Biden's, and it's very interesting that Podesta is now in focus, and people are hearing his name as we get closer and closer to the presidential election. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Just like it's very, very interesting that Alejandro Mayorkas has been at the House, and yes, they're going to actually have the trial. And now we've learned that the Department of Homeland Security, they're spending $3 million of law firm to defend Alejandro Mayorkas. And now we see how things are going to play out, and I do believe eventually what's going to happen is we're going to understand what's really going on in the border. Think about all the people that really haven't been paying attention. They're going to learn quite a bit. And the other thing that's very interesting is that because of all these illegals coming into this country, people are now seeing crime ramp up. People are seeing the illegals sleeping in the streets. They understand that a lot of the money is going to the illegals and taken away from the people, and the people are getting pissed off and angry, and they want their installed individuals to do something about it. Now, the governor of New York has decided to bring in the National Guard into New York City because they're going to protect the subway system, which is very interesting. But what they put into place is that people now are being searched as they go into the subway system, and they're just randomly saying, okay, we're going to cut your bag, okay, we're going to cut your bag. Once again, this is the violation of the First Amendment. So it looks like they're actually making police state. Really think about it. They want the illegals to come in. Crimes goes up. And now the American people are being searched on public transportation. Didn't the Founding Fathers fight against this? Didn't they create the Fourth Amendment because of this? And this is what the Fourth Amendment says. Provided the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched, and the person or things to be seized. So they're just saying, I want to search your bag, I want to search what you've got. And once again, they're violating our constitutional rights. Just like when we go to the gas station, 9/11 to do this. This is how they try to break down the Constitution and your rights. And it's fine. It's not. And you think this is exactly what they're doing in New York. So instead of bringing in the National Guard and searching all the people, why don't you shut down the borders and remove the illegals and deport them back to where they came from? That would solve the problem. Have them come in at the port of entry. Let them be vetted. Wouldn't that solve the problem? Remember, we only got to go back to the source of the problem. Again, these people are new. Why? Because that's not part of their agenda, and their agenda is to bring in as many of these criminals as possible because they need to have a color revolution. And this is not just to scare people. This is to wake people up, to make them understand what they have planned. Remember, in 2020...
No, you son of a bitch.
Scared the hell out of them.
You took it? Somebody fucking took
They
it.
kept scaring the people
Well, shit.
into thinking there was
Let's go.
a dangerous virus out there.
What's this
so
right there?
people
What is
would
that?
mail in their votes. What do you think they're going to do this
What
time?
do I
Trump
got?
is saying, this is the final battle. If we don't win this,
Oh,
the
shit.
country falls. But this is also the final battle for the
People
state
up there.
players. Because when Trump wins, it's game over for them. So you don't think they're going to fight back with everything they have? You think COVID was scary? Wait until you see what they're going to try to do. But again, this is going to work in favor of Trump and the Patriots because this is going to wake up the people and it's going to create the counter-insurgency.
Down below.
Brilliant plan. But we can see we are marching towards war right now. And Sweden has officially become a NATO state. So now Sweden is part of NATO. Look how they're preparing all. Because we are moving towards war. Trump has let us know that yes, World War III is coming. And he saw it a year and a half, 2 years ago. He let everyone know it, but of course, when he said it, did anyone really say, oh my God, war's coming? No, they really didn't pay attention. No one really believed it. But here we are, and this is going to ramp up as we get closer and closer to the presidential election. Because once again, we have Biden with the Soviet Union and Trump's directive 5 all the way down the track here. But again, Biden is preparing his speech to actually bring us war. It's almost the same thing that happened in 1941. We'll be discussing in just a moment. But you can see that COVID right now is completely dead. Right now, Harvard, they dropped the COVID-19 vaccine mandate after 3.5 years. DC Drano put this out and said, Harvard drops COVID-19 vaccine mandate 3.5 years after it's already been proven to not stop COVID. Harvard really is a joke lately,
What is
and
that?
he's absolutely right. And what's very interesting, I said this going back to 2020, that bioweapon, that was going to be a what were they doing? They were giving everyone COVID. They were making people sick. So the bioweapon is actually the pandemic. The virus that they're talking about was not the pandemic. They needed that to actually create the pandemic. What we've come to learn now, after examining over 1,000 patients, U.S. doctors found that long COVID developed in 70% of cases after vaccine injection, not after infection. So once again, we're starting to see the real pandemic is the bioweapon that they were shooting into people. And those people that are continually getting it over and over and over, well, they're getting sicker and sicker and sicker, especially those individuals that exercise. Because when you put stress on your heart, well, it makes myocarditis, it really amplifies that. And you can see there's a lot of sport individuals and other individuals that stress their heart, and I don't stress it to the point where, oh my God, they can't function. If they didn't take the bioweapon, they'd be fine. But with the bioweapon, it actually gives them a heart attack. And we're starting to see a lot of people get a heart attack or have heart problems who took the bioweapon. And what's very interesting about all this is that we have two groups now. We have the unvaccinated. A lot of people did not get the vaccine. And those people that got booster after booster after booster. And you can see the difference between those people and the unvaccinated. Because when they say, oh, it must be from COVID, it must be from this, well, when you start to really look at it, and you start to look at the studies, you only see the vaccinated people having problems, not the unvaccinated, which is very, very interesting. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is that there is new legislation, a new bill that's that was introduced on March 5th, and it would strip COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers of liability protection, enabling Americans injured by the shots to sue the companies. Well, this would absolutely destroy the pharmaceutical companies, wouldn't it? So this bill was proposed by Representative Chip Roy, would retroactively remove protection from the Public Readiness and Emergency Preparedness Act for COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers. So once again, I don't think the vaccine company, the pharmaceutical company, right? I don't think they should be protected. Because once again, if they have immunity, they can give us anything. Oh wait, they have. And they can make people sick, they can make people die, and they can reduce the population. So why should they get immunity? Actually, if they strip away immunity, they would have to make the best product ever, and they would have to do testing like there was no tomorrow. And they would actually eventually have to come up with cures. So giving them immunity actually hurt the people. And I think it's time to remove this from Big Pharma. And most of these companies won't be able to survive. Now, the other thing that's very interesting is that we can see January 6th is completely and utterly hard on them. And as the videotapes are released, we're starting to realize that they completely and utterly lied to the American people. And there was a newly released Capitol CCTV video that shows Senator Kamala Harris exiting the Capitol at 11:21 a.m. January 6th. The government filed indictments in January 6th cases for almost a year, falsely claims that Harris was still in the Capitol building. Julie Kelly responded to this and said, the basis for the most common misdemeanor, entering, remaining on restricted ground, was the presence of both Harris and Mike Pence at the Capitol. As Secret Service protected, the area was automatically restricted. Politico broke story in November 2021 that Harris had left prior to any breach, and indictments claiming Harris was at the Capitol were inaccurate. It didn't matter to DC judges that DOJ accurately claimed in hundreds of charging documents Harris was inside the building before admitting the truth. DOJ then focused on Pence, insisting he was still on Capitol property during the breach, but he was whisked away to an underground garage. The public and defendants have been told, although the exact location is still unknown. Defendants did not ask witnesses, including Secret Service agents, as to Pence's precise whereabouts to confirm he remained on Capitol grounds to justify the charge. Now that charge 1752 is under review by D.C. Appellate Court, during oral argument, the panel seemed inclined to kick one case back to the judge and require the judge, conviction after bench trial, to demonstrate foreknowledge of Pence's presence at the Capitol. This could result in another huge rage for violence related to 1,000 plus charged with 1752. And once again, as these videos continually are being produced and people are seeing the truth, it's getting tougher and tougher for corrupt politicians, judges, and corrupt everybody to actually
Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. Get him, get him, get him.
Things are true because this is what the Unselect Committee did from the American people. They deleted their information. Remember, when they delete something, it doesn't mean it's deleted. Now, the other thing that's very interesting is we see that the case against Bonnie Willis is continuing. And there are more
Let's go!
whistleblowers.
Let's go!
This is coming out, and yes, the evidence is stacking against her, but you need to remember that we're dealing with a criminal system, and certain individuals might be blackmailed bribes, and they might not disqualify her. Remember, what's happening right now
Crazy.
in this country is to show the people the truth for justice. What's happening in this country is to expose the crime of the big players. What's happening in this country, especially as the patriots in Congress, is to block anything the deep state is trying to do. Can we bring people to justice? Not at this point. We're at the phase where the people have to wake up. The people have to see the open borders. The people have to see the family economy. The people have to see the two-tier
Immortal.
justice system. The people have to see war coming. That's where we're at right now. If anyone is expecting all these people to be arrested,
Two kills.
great. Well, that's come afterwards. Because again, if the people don't